Now, for this next question, there's going to be no timer, Getulio. You have as long as you want to answer this question because this is a very long and complicated question, and I think people want answers about this. Now, in 2020, according to the Tampa Bay Times, you were arrested and charged with battery on a law enforcement officer for striking an officer's arm and pushing past another, along with some other charges that were later dropped. A spokeswoman for the state attorney's office in Hillsborough County, Florida, said it's not immediately clear what happened to that charge, as she could not find that in her database, but it was reported at the time in local media. Now, today I called that spokeswoman from the state attorney's office in Hillsborough County, Florida, and learned of another incident. According to eyewitness testimony detailed in a police report, on July 20th, 2021, you went to a Dunkin Donuts location in Hillsborough County, Florida, and tried to return a food order that was from a different Dunkin Donuts location. The police report says that after you were informed that the fast food restaurant would not accept returns from a different location, you apparently entered into a verbal altercation with the manager there, cursing and yelling at them, which allegedly escalated into you spitting on a fast food worker and trying to barge into the fast food restaurant through the drive-in window. This is in the police report. The fast food staff said that they had to close the window, an action that you said lacerated your finger. The manager even said that they hit you to prevent you from coming inside the restaurant through the window. You called law enforcement to the scene and told them at the time that you essentially dared the manager to hit you in the face before the manager did. That day, you reportedly got into a food fight with the staff, with one employee throwing food in your car and you smearing food on the drive-through window. The window was closed and other parts of the building were locked to keep you out because the employees deemed you a threat. You then called the police and said that you wanted the manager arrested. No charges were filed because of a lack of evidence. The Dunkin Donuts surveillance camera that would have recorded the altercation was not working at that time. This is all according to the police report, your own statements, and eyewitness testimony from the food service workers there. Now, keep in mind that allegedly, this whole incident started simply because the employees wouldn't accept your return, according to their testimony in this police report. The staff alleged that you escalated the incident to begin with. Now, what do you have to say about these two incidents to students who are skeptical of voting for someone who in recent years has been accused of violent conduct? And can you tell me why students should vote for someone accused of treating fast food workers in that manner?
So, which would you like me to address first?
Whatever you want.
Okay. The 2020, the battery, that was dropped because the state attorney, Andrew Warren, at the time, he decided to drop those charges because it was for protesting. It was at a Black Lives Matter protest that I was organizing at the time. And a friend of, okay, so the entire story goes like this. This is going to take a while. So we had a march in South Tampa, and we had the routes, and we tried to obscure them from police because it was, civil disobedience. By the time that the march was done and we came back to where we had started, several activists and organizers were sitting down in a grassy area off to the side of a parking lot, and they were essentially speaking. It turned into a teach-in, essentially. When that happened, there were still students on the street, and at the time, the police, the chief of police, Brian Dugan, had gone to the Tampa Bay Times, and he insisted that counter-protesters start showing up for police. And that's when the counter-protesters started running over protesters, right? So one counter-protester was in a car, and he started barreling into pedestrians, people who were protesting, and eventually the car hit me. I got onto the roof of the car, and I hit the car stops. I get out of the way, and I yell for people to get out of the way as well. Another activist friend of mine, Jason Stewart Flores, if you look at the police report, he's going to be in there. He was hit by that car. He was taken onto Swan at 45 miles an hour into traffic, and he's on the hood of the car. Okay? So Desiree, she's a nurse that was taking care of the people at the protest in case some crazies did anything. I hop in her van to see what happened to Stewart. By the time we get there, we see that he's being arrested. The officer asked me if I wanted to press charges on the person who had hit Stewart, and I declined. In that moment when I was having a conversation with the officer, one of the riot police pushed me. When he pushed me, essentially, like, my fingers grazed his arm, and that was the battery. That was the assault and battery that happened, right? Just because I simply touched him after he stiff-armed me. So that's that one.
No, but it says you struck an officer's arm and pushed past another. So do you refute that?
No, that's not what happened. Essentially, what happened was the officer stiff-armed me. When he stiff-armed me, I recoil. My arm goes like this, and it just like that. Essentially, I didn't touch him. I didn't hit him. I didn't hit anybody.
Understood. Now, I think students around this campus, especially student employees who work in retail and in food service, they might be more concerned about the second.
And I'll talk about that as well. What had happened in that altercation, so I did go to return food to the Dunkin Donuts, and I put it in the window for whatever reason. The girl took the food. It had already been in the restaurant. And I asked her, like, look, I just want to return it. I don't want this because this, I didn't order this, right? She calls the manager for whatever reason, didn't want to take it off my hands. The manager's like, no, I'm not going to take this. I don't understand why. I don't know why. As I'm driving off with my window open, he throws the food all over me in the car, right? And then I obviously I was angry because it had gotten all over me. It had gotten all over my car. I get out of the car and I ask him, like, dude, what's your problem? Why are you doing this? And he punches me.
In the police report, you said something to the effect of "hit me," and then
no.
That's what it says in the police report that you said to the police officer.
No. Why? Like, I didn't tell him to hit me. Why would I tell him to?
That's
hit me?
what the spokeswoman for
I got out
state
of
attorney
I got out of the car because he threw, like, food all over my car, inside of my car as I was driving off. Right? I was angry and I spoke to him and I was like, dude, what's your problem? And he's like, get away from the window, get away from the window. Things escalated. He hits me, and then my finger gets caught in the window. When that happens, I call the police. I report it, and after it's reported, he's like, look, man, there's no cameras. There's nothing you can do. Just leave. And I left. That's the long and short of it. I didn't attack the guy or anything. Like, the guy punched me.
Did you spit?
No, I didn't spit at nobody.
Okay, so you refute that, and you refute trying to go into the restaurant through the window.
Yes.
Okay. And is there any message that you have to student workers who work in fast food or work in retail?
I'm sorry, could we start with that question? Because it feels as though this question grilling someone's past has been going on excessively long.
No, I just wanted to give him the time to address it.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Like, things have happened, and if I was on the other side, I'd be curious too. I apologize.
Just whatever point you want to finish, and then we'll move on.
For fast food workers, like, they're workers. I don't care if you're a fast food worker, if you're an engineer. If you're working, you deserve to be paid and you deserve dignity, period. So it has nothing to, like, if that altercation, if somebody believes that it stemmed from something like that, that's not wrong. I support labor 100%. I've organized with the IBEW back home, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Your thought-out answer. We're going to move on now back to our regular line of questioning. That was a longer thing that I wanted to address here because I thought it was important, especially as elections, amid the elections.
Yeah.
Now,